Let's talk about soul mission and soul path. People ask me all the time, what am I supposed to be doing here? Why did I incarnate? What are my spiritual gifts? Which I totally understand, okay? Because we, as a society, if you live in America or some other type of capitalistic society, are so driven to do. Okay. And having a soul path and a soul mission is a little bit different than making, products and doing services. Even though those can be your soul mission and your soul path, you can absolutely help the collective in that way. Okay. Especially if you are a beautiful light beam that wants to bring joy and happiness and magic to other people's lives. Like, beautiful. Okay. But there are so many ways that you can be of service that don't necessarily have a monetary tie to it, even though we would love that, okay? Because who wouldn't love to get paid for what their soul is calling for them to do? Okay, that's one of the reasons that I started my coaching business, okay, energy healing business, because I was like, I don't want to work for anybody else. Okay, I have always been a free spirit, an entrepreneur. I do not like to be micromanaged. I am really good at figuring things out, and not everybody appreciates that always. And I question things constantly. I want to know why we're doing everything. Where is this taking us? What is the end goal? And sometimes, and you're probably this person too, if you're watching this, you're 10 steps ahead of some people, and you're like, we gotta go. Okay, come on. And so I wanted to create an avenue where I could flourish with these beautiful things about myself that oftentimes are not highlighted in the society that we live in. Okay, so I was like, well, this is it. This is my only option. Okay, and before I had the spiritual business, I had a doggy daycare for many years, and I have never been a corporate galley. Okay, I have always figured it out. Let's talk about what we don't want to do with our soul path and our soul mission. Okay? Because sometimes when we talk about the no's, it makes it easier to direct towards the yeses. So the first one is going to be not trying to go after our soul path and our soul mission to justify that we are successful in life, because that is a capitalistic tendency. Okay? And you have all of these beautiful innate gifts. And I'm going to be speaking to my energy healers and my coaches for a second, okay? So sometimes we are hesitant to step onto our soul mission because we're like, oh, I don't know enough, or I don't have a specific modality yet. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. Okay? You have to accept in your soul that you are an energy healer. There has always been people who are coming to you for advice. You help them get on the right track. You can see what's going on with them very clearly. You can see into their subconscious. You have really good behavioral pattern recognition. This is because you got mother wounds. This is because you got father wounds. This is because, all these various things that happen to you in life, that's where the roots are, and we got to clear those things out. Or maybe it's because you're catastrophizing, or your thought patterns, or how you speak to yourself. Like, we just know. Okay? That's because you have been an energy healer, an advisor, a sage, a guide in many different lifetimes, not just this one. Okay, so the first thing is accepting that about yourself and saying, I am confident in my gifts and abilities. It does not have to come through a modality necessarily, which that's beautiful. We love that if that's what you want to do, okay, because all that's doing is fine-tuning your energy healing abilities. It's helping you with yourself or helping other people focus on some type of very specific solution. But outside of that, energy healing is energy healing. we can always help people through just having conversations with them as well. I was speaking to a client in a Akashic record session yesterday, and their higher self was like, hey, why are you not giving Akashic record readings? Like, you were able to do that. And she was expressing that she was nervous about not having the right answers. And I was like, when have you ever given somebody a wrong answer? And she was like, I don't think I have. And I was like, yeah, because we're not trying to tell people what to do. we're not saying yes or no. Okay, one, because it doesn't work. Those are very definitive answers, and life is not definitive. There's a lot of variables. What we are doing as the mentor and the guide or the coach, whether you do it professionally or, you know, in your family and friends aspect or with your coworkers, is we are helping people see things in different perspectives. We are helping them learn how to understand themselves on deeper levels, how to do the level of self-discovery work that we do on self through our journeys or through our ascension journeys for so many years. We're helping them step outside of themselves so they can look at their situations objectively. We are not trying to give them the answer. We are trying to help them figure out how to give themselves the answer. And that takes a lot of pressure off. I was like, it's just having conversations. Now, do you need to keep on continuing to build your tools and your resources and your understandings of the human psyche and how emotional states work and how subconscious reprogramming works, and, you know, all of these different ways to help people? Absolutely, because it helps you see from a massive perspective lens, many different types, okay? Because everybody is different. They need different levels of support and different levels of understanding. But there's so many people, specifically light workers and empaths, that are so worried about being a failure before they even get started. I'm like, babe, you need to have more confidence in self, okay? Everybody comes to you because you know what to say. Like, you're just worried about stepping into doing this more intentionally because maybe there's money involved and you're afraid that you're not going to be worth what you're putting out to others. When, what is it worth to change somebody's life forever based on one conversation? And helping them have these realizations and helping them release PTSD and trauma because you help them see something in a different way, okay? Or help them connect the dots. Like that is, what's the word? Where you can't quantify something. Oh my gosh, if you think of the word, put it in the comments, okay? But it cannot be quantified what the worth of that is. And then there's some other people that are like, well, I don't know how to run a business. Learn. Like, YouTube University is fantastic, okay? You can literally teach yourself how to do anything. It is how much time and energy are you willing to invest on yourself and your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. I didn't know how to do any of that, okay? And I have run 2 businesses now, and I had to figure it out, and I did. I said, all of these fears that are in my way are telling me, like, oh, you're going to be a failure, you don't know enough, like, you're not an expert, you don't have licensing, you know, all of these different things, or you don't know how to run a business. Being able to work for myself and do the things that I love and help bring more magic into the collective and help heal people forever and I'll heal myself at the same time, that was more worth it to me. I said, I will not let that fear trip me up. I'm going to keep going because there is no other option. This is it. There is no plan B. It's only plan A. And swinging back around what I was talking about with the soul mission to begin with and getting into your soul path is there is no right one answer. There are definitely things that your multidimensional self, your higher awarenesses decided to come onto this incarnation and to do while you're here. But even then, like, you can change that. Soul contracts are not finite. They are malleable. You wrote it. Like, it's if you decided to go, let's say, across the country and you sat down and you said, I'm going to have this very specific plan to go from A to B. But then halfway down the trip, you're like, you know what? I think that I want to take this detour and go over here, okay? You can do that, okay? Because you have autonomy over your decisions and your life and your soul contracts. But I will say that sometimes there's these things within you that you are pining to do and that you know are meant for you, but the fears are tripping you up, or you saying, I don't know how to do these things. Baby, you are a creator, okay? It is, oh, there's a red cardinal up there. If that's a sync for anybody. It is insane what can happen for you in your life if you bet on yourself. I cannot even start to express all of these miraculous things that have happened in my life when I just decided to go all in on me. Wild circumstances that have gotten me to where I'm at today, that if I told somebody, right, they'd be like, what the heck, how have you done this? I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day about how I have lived so many lives in this one incarnation already, and maybe you feel like that, you have these whole chapters where it just feels like you have done a whole entire lifetime in a couple of years, but that's because I continue to persevere through the fears, okay, and say, I know that there is more magic and prosperity and abundance available for me on the other side, and there always is. But it's scary going through because the imposter syndrome and, a whole other assortment of things. But again, back to what I was saying. Oh my gosh, I'm getting off track. But somebody needs motivation this morning. Sometimes you have these things that are pining for you to do in this incarnation. And a lot of times you already know what they are. I have a lot of people come to me and say, I don't know what I want to be doing or what I should be doing. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You absolutely know what that is. Okay. It's the fear. It's you saying, I don't know how. But if you had all the tools and resources available to you right now in this second, you would go after that thing. If you had the confidence right now, you would go after that thing. I'm going to tell you a secret. You don't have confidence before you do the thing. You need determination. You need accountability. You need motivation. Because confidence, you get that after you do the thing. That is something that I have learned, and I'm just going to be afraid and have anxiety beforehand, but then when I push through and get to the other side, I'm like, heck yeah, look at me. I am able to do anything that I want to. And the more times that you put yourself in those situations, the more confidence and self-concept and empowerment that you are able to give to self, and you really do become unstoppable, because there have been so many seemingly hard things that I have had to work through in life, and I live in a completely different reality now where things just kind of work out because I believe that they do. I just say, oh, I'm going to follow what my soul is telling me to do, or my higher self, and it'll just work itself out. But even now, when I'm going through challenges or obstacles, because I had so many hard challenges and pivots in the past, I can look back at those and be like, oh, this is easy breezy lemon squeezy what I'm going through right now compared to that stuff in the past. Of course I could do it. And maybe that's a reality check that you need to do on yourself and write out on a sheet of paper all the hard things that you've been through. Okay? Because going after your dreams and your aspirations, I'm not saying that that's going to be super easy. It comes with a lot of growth moments. Comes with a lot of knowledge expansion, okay, and skills and tools that you'll probably need. But comparatively to things in the past, especially if you're an empath and lightworker watching this and you soul contracted with a little bit of a harder incarnation, of course it's going to be easier to go after those things. Okay, those are fun. That brings excitement. That brings joy. That brings magic when we get to those goal points. And when we're not going after the things that our soul is pining for, oh my gosh, it feels awful. It feels like there is something missing inside of you. It's like something is off kilter. You're not yourself. We are searching for something to fill this void space within us. We know very deeply internally that we are capable of incredible, amazing things. And you already are. You're already incredible and amazing. Okay, let's say that, because we don't want to chase something externally outside of us. But the levels of which you are able to reach, you know those. Okay, and when you were fighting against yourself, it really feels like a battle. And I was talking to a different client yesterday, and I said, sometimes the crux of being a timeline reader, where you can see further down your soul contract and what you are inevitably going to do, can create a lot of disharmony, because you're like, well, why am I not there? Obviously, I'm not good enough. Obviously, I'm not taking the right actions. I'm not doing the right steps, because otherwise that would be me now. And I'm like, no. You are in the stage of growing and learning and picking up the tools and resources that you need to become said person. And I said, if you keep on putting off that you are already that person, then you will not become her. Okay, you have to accept that you're here, that you're her now. And I have to remind myself that all the time, of just because I can see the end goals over here doesn't mean that I'm not her right now. We're just in the process and in the journey. Okay, but if I keep on saying, well, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and putting all this pressure on myself and talking down to myself, like self-deprecation, and just coming from like this scrambly anxiety energy, I'm not her. I'm not, because she's not doing that in the future. Okay, she's at peace. She's happy. She's thriving. She believes in herself. She is confident. She knows that every single action step that she took in the place and space that I'm in right now, or maybe you're in right now, that cardinal, was getting us to where we want to go. Okay, is a beautiful unfoldment. And so when you can accept that of, hey, I'm in my soul mission right now, I'm in my soul purpose. Okay, just because it doesn't look how I think it should look, doesn't mean that I'm not going to where I want to go. And at the same time, checking in where you're at right now, and if these fears are preventing you kind of from moving forward at the pace that you want, because you can collapse a lot of time, okay, in between where you're at and where you want to go, dependent on if you say, I'm going to bet on me, and I'm going to every single day create forward movement towards my dreams, goals, and aspirations. Like, what can I do today, even if it's only for 10 minutes? That's literally how I have built 2 businesses and gotten to where I'm at. It's just every single day saying, how can I create forward movement? Sometimes it's not these big, giant steps. Sometimes it's very minute decisions, or one video post, or one email that I write, or one awareness shift that I have, and not being afraid to fail. There have been so many things in my life that have not worked out. Okay, just so many. But I learned something every single time. And so when I had the perception shift of, hey, this is a growth moment, this is an opportunity for me to pivot and for me to get even more in alignment with myself and my dreams and my goals. Actually, I was watching this video the other day, and this gentleman was explaining that obstacles do not mean that you're headed in the wrong direction. It means that you headed in the right direction as far as you can go. And now we need to readjust, okay? Because now you're a new person. You're a new identity. And so I was on a walk, and in my business, I had kind of hit a stalemate a little bit, and things weren't progressing at the rate that I wanted them to. And when I looked at the dynamics of what I have been doing, some of the things are not in alignment anymore, because I'm not the same person that was doing those things in the past. And my higher self has been trying to get me to say, hey, we need to try some different things. Because as an Aquarius and as a multidimensionalite, I am constantly reinventing the things that I'm doing. But it's not because I'm wishy-washy. It's because I'm fine-tuning what it is that I want to do here in this incarnation. It is me saying, you know what, this over here looks like it'll be more fun. This looks, not only for me, but for other people. Oh, there are a lot of collective consciousness shifts going on right now. Maybe I need to make adjustments to, what's the word I'm looking for? Cultivate my community in a different way, and share different messages and different understandings and talk about different things based on how everybody's shifting. But if I keep on doing the same things over and over again, that's not going to be of service to self, and it's not going to be of service to others. Okay, so I hit like a hard pivot so that I could get into a reflectory period where I'm going within myself to find said answers of, hey, what do we need to do? And something that was really beneficial was I got out a sheet of paper, like a journaling, and I said, I was writing, I always download the best ideas. I am very creative. I'm very innovative. I always have the most aligned answers. As soon as I wrote that, about an hour later, I got a new idea to try something completely different in my business. And I said, oh, this feels so fresh. This feels fun. This feels like it's going to help so many more people. It's going to help me. Like, I just felt so much joy because it's such a rejuvenation. And the things that I was doing previously, I was burning out on. I was like, I don't really want to do these things anymore. Like, it was fun in the moment, but it's kind of getting taxing right now. It's kind of getting heavy. And I was just really getting frustrated with myself. But the fear of making a mistake or making a pivot or saying, oh, well, I haven't done this before. It's something new. Like, all these fears started coming up, like we talked about previously. And I was like, we're not doing that. Okay. We have always been successful. We have always pivoted, and it's been a success. When we bet on ourselves, there's a huge payoff. And so we're going to do it again. Okay. So I immediately made a video about the changes that I was making and got a huge response from people saying, yes, we would love to do this. This is a great idea. How can I sign up? And that was just confirmation of me doing that follow through despite what the fears were that were coming up. And then on the other side, there's been a lot of things that didn't work out, like I said before, and it was more to showcase this is not for us. That's not it. And the reason that I followed those things in the first place was because of programming and ego and masking, and doing things that I think were good for other people, but not really checking in with my own energy to see if I wanted to be doing that in the first place, like pedestalizing others in the spirituality lens of like needing to be of service in the collective, but not really checking in with self, first. So we have to, on a side note here, if you're an empath, a light worker, you spiritual coach, energy healer, what do I want to do? Okay? Because when you are happy and in your peace and in your joy and magic and laughter, that has such an outpouring of blessings to others. But you need to look through your own lens of what makes me light up. And then you can direct that towards other people if you want to be helping in the collective consciousness shift. So this is all to say, follow what your soul is telling you to do, even if it doesn't make rational sense. There have been a lot of times where I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is leading or where this is going, but I'm just going to trust it because I'm going to trust that my soul knows what we need to be doing. And then it had huge payoffs. I'm like, thank goodness, right? Thank goodness that I listened to my intuition and my higher self, because you can't always see what they can see. Okay, you so in your situation right now, and you and your ego and your fear and your anxiety, and they're like, hey, if you would just do what we ask you to do, you're gonna make so much forward movement, and you're gonna be so happy if you just listen. But sometimes like a child thinks that they know better than their parents or like their mom or something. Like, we do that too as humans to our multidimensional self. So I hope this message resonated with you today, and it gave you some confidence and some empowerment. I really feel called to share the experiences that I have had in life because it makes it more tangible, and that you can also see like, hey, it's not just me, there's other people that experience this and are going through it. Okay, it makes us not feel so isolated and like, oh, this person experiences this as well. And one more thing, okay, so I was speaking to one of the clients, and she was nervous about giving sessions, and I said, I'm still nervous about giving sessions, and I have been doing it for years, every single time that I'm gonna work with somebody, I have self-doubt pop up. And she was like, really? And I was like, yes, I have just gotten accustomed to feeling fear and anxiety and doing it anyway. So when that happens, it's just really easy for me to work through it. And I just say, I'm going to do it anyway. But that really did help her to hear where I'm at in life, for her to be like, oh, well, if she gets nervous, if she still does it, I can do it too. Right? And if it's your first time here, my name is Sage. I am a spiritual coach, an Akashic healer, quantum healer, and my life mission is to help you connect to your multidimensionality, reach higher levels of consciousness, and remember your magic. And if you would like to work together one-on-one, you can find that information in the description box below or in the comments. And remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to stay updated on new content, workshops, masterclasses, and lives. And I hope you have a super magical day. And remember, you get to decide what you want to do in this incarnation. Okay, you get to decide what your soul mission and your soul path is. Work through the fear and say, I'm gonna do it anyway because I am worth it.